Welcome to the Age Well Home and Lifestyle podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Bradley. I'm the founder of Age Well Home and Lifestyle. This podcast is rooted in one essential truth. To age well and thrive, we must be radically curious. Curious about who we really are, about what truly matters. Curious enough to question everything we've been told so we can finally design a life and home that reflects our truest selves. Here we treat life as our masterpiece. We see ourselves as detectives gathering clues, uncovering our deepest gifts, and consciously curating a lifestyle and home that is both healing and fulfilling. Join me for solo episodes and conversations with guests where I help us get closer to the root of living our best lives in mid-age and beyond. Okay, welcome back. So today we're talking about the difference between aging in place design and universal design. And I'll share with you how I incorporate both into my work at Age Well Home and Lifestyle. So let's dive in. First, let's start with aging in place. So I started going into people's homes in the early 2000s, over 25 years ago. As I started, and I did this as a licensed physical therapist. So as a licensed physical therapist, I was conducting safety assessments. And back then it wasn't even called aging in place. It was just home safety assessments. I'd assess fall risks, recommend grab bars, remove tripping hazards, improve lighting, and just guide families through modifications that could help their loved ones stay independent and safe longer. I would also assess the humans in this space and give them a home exercise program or movement program to stay strong and independent and functional as long as possible. I loved that work. But it was often reactive. Most people were connecting with me after a situation. So most of the time it was done after something had already gone wrong. Aging in place design, as it's known now, is most of the time still rooted in the mindset of making a home safe after a diagnosis. After a diagnosis, after a surgery, or after a fall, or quickly making a modification or modifications because the family suspects something's going to happen soon. So these decisions that are more reactive are often made while in the stress response, and they're often not ideal for anyone. These reactive, quick decisions often lead to poor aesthetic choices, poor floor plans, and often lead to decreased value in the home. So this is just general, but these are things to think about when you hear aging in place design or aging in place assessments. They're often reactive, often happen fast, and can be a bit piecemeal and patchwork. But instead, I personally do aging in place design work very differently. So I am still a licensed physical therapist. I don't practice traditionally, but I still keep my license. I'm a certified aging in place specialist, interior designer, and real estate broker. So I bring my 25 years of experience together into all my services I provide at Age Well Home and Lifestyle. Okay, I take it very seriously. So I have, in regards to the aging in place work, I have what I call the gold standard aging in place assessment, where I assess not only inside and outside of the home, but I thoroughly assess the human or humans living in the home. This is essential so that I can see the humans moving in the space and how you move, your daily lifestyle. So I take into consideration how the spaces are used by everyone in the home, the flow of the entire home, the aesthetics of the home, and even the resale value of the home. It's all important. Yes, number one, and especially in those immediate situations, the most important thing is the safety of your loved one, 100%. But if we start being more proactive about these ideas, the thought that, is my home safe for everyone, which we'll get into more. If we're more proactive, we can design our homes so that they're not only safe and functional, but also aesthetically pleasing. They flow well, and the resale value is good, which we'll talk about more. So definitely, for my assessments, please connect with me sooner rather than later. It's never too early, okay? You may be years off from deciding exactly what you want to do, but just start with a conversation. The conversation I often start with families is, they're thinking, are my aging parents going to stay in their home with no modifications? Is it fine? Is it safe? Are they going to stay in the home and get some modifications done or renovations, big or small? Will they move into another home and that new home may need modifications? Maybe multiple generations will sell their homes to move into a multi-generational space that needs renovations. There are so many choices these days. So connect for that conversation. And that's what I love to do. I love to help you decide. I like to allow you to be curious about these situations so that you can identify the best case scenario for you and your family. And it's unique per family. Okay, so let's dive into universal design. Okay, universal design is more proactive. It's the concept of designing environments that are accessible and usable by all people, regardless of age, ability, or life circumstance, without the need for adaptation later on. This is huge. It isn't about just older people. It isn't about disability. It's about designing for real life, for the full human spectrum. So universal design can be just built into a home. That's how a home is built. Or when you're renovating, you can build with universal design principles. And here are 10 key principles of universal design in homes. And this is just 10 of them. No step entries, single floor living, wide doorways and hallways, accessible bathroom features. This could be a curbless shower, grab bars, raised toilets, enough space to maneuver a wheelchair or walker. The lever style door and faucet handles, lower light switches and higher outlets, non-slip flooring and no thresholds, ample lighting with dimmers, adjustable and multi-level countertops, and smart layout and clear sight lines. So those are just 10 universal design principles that can be incorporated into a home. Again, a new build or a renovation. But that's just 10 of them. So these, again, it's not just about aging. They're about designing for all ages, all abilities, and all stages of life. Universal design integrates safety and functionality from the very beginning. Yet, only 3 to 3.5% of homes incorporate crucial universal design elements, such as the accessible bathrooms, the lever handles, reachable switch, all the things I just mentioned. So only 3 to 3.5% of homes in the United States incorporate universal design. It makes no sense to me. I understand, and I'll tell you more why, but we need more homes that are universally designed, okay? So why do you think homes are not being built with universal designs? And there's a lot of reasons, but one main reason, and these reasons are things I'm working on helping, being part of the solution here. A lot of consumers don't even know about universal design, so they don't know they can demand that in homes. Another big issue is that builders and developers often get stuck in a rut with the same old things they do, the same old home plans, and they continue to build that way. But we need change. So at Age Well Home and Lifestyle, with my work, we know that homes need to be built with universal design principles more often. Okay, and we also, as consumers, need to demand more of our homes. So for me, I call the home design part of my work Age Well Home Design. And it's focused not only on universal design, but also creating homes using non-toxic and healthy materials, designing floor plans and spaces with a focus on well-being, and making sure the spaces are aesthetically pleasing to all the senses. So it's even more than universal design. I 100% believe, again, even going back to the aging in place assessments, aging in place has its place. And I like to call aging in place thriving at home. Okay, I want people to thrive at home no matter what they're going through in their life. So the aging in place gold standard assessment is fantastic, especially if you need it done with an immediate circumstance or you think something's going to happen that you have to do something quicker. If you have more space, more time, you're more proactive about these decisions, designing a home, thinking about your lifestyle, then you incorporate the universal design and fully incorporating the Age Well home design, which incorporates the universal design. It thinks about, again, the healthy home materials. We deserve to live in spaces that do not make us sick. Back in some of my other work that I focused on more, and I still do this, healthy home assessments. But the way I got into focusing on healthy homes is I was working with women to help them heal at the root cause level, and we found that they had toxic materials in their homes that they had to remove to continue the healing journey. So we deserve homes that are universally designed, that have non-toxic, healthy materials. We, especially since COVID, the new modern lifestyle, we do a lot at home, right? Both couples often, a lot of people work at home, both partners, both couples, both people. Multiple generations too work at home. People want to exercise at home. So well-being spaces, so if somebody wants quiet, one person can go to a quiet space. If another person wants to be moving and exercising, there's an exercise space. So well-being spaces throughout the home environment, and then of course making it aesthetically pleasing to all of the senses. Okay? It's also about, like I said, families wanting to plan for multi-generational living. I hear and I talk to more and more families wanting to multi-generationally live. And this could be in a home or it could be in a compound type of environment. But it just makes sense these days. Okay? Multiple generations living together. And we need to figure out how to allow all people to have their space optimally. So the housing industry needs a major shift. And it needs a major shift to accommodate the larger number of aging people, more people demanding, wanting, desiring multi-generational living, and as I said, the modern day post-COVID lifestyle. Many people working at home together, many people, college kids coming home, maybe studying at home, moving at home, exercising, or entertaining. The home needs to do so much more. So we need builders who are trained in universal design and the Age Well home design principles. We need policies and incentives that support this type of development and design. And we need consumers, we need everybody, consumers, who understand that investing in universal design and Age Well home design, it's not just a luxury, it is essential. And remember, we deserve it. We deserve spaces where everybody can be safe. And everyone can be safe and move and thrive and not just survive. We need spaces that allow us to be healthy, non-toxic. We need spaces that allow us to do the things and be the way we want to be in our home. And we deserve spaces that are aesthetically pleasing to us, that bring us joy, that light up all of our emotions. So, and something to remember too, the cost of not designing this way, it's more accidents, more falls, more health issues, more expenses later. So being as proactive as you can be, thinking about these things earlier, having these conversations earlier, allows you to really design your home and your life how you want to thrive and not just survive in your home. So I'm doing my part to shift what I can. So I work with homeowners and families, helping people renovate and build new homes with all of these principles. And so much of it, again, is getting that clarity before you even start. So the sooner you start thinking about these things, the sooner you know all of your options. So many people don't even know what's out there that they can ask for. Okay, the sooner the better. I work with builders and developers creating future-ready communities, redesigning their plans, rethinking how they're designing homes from the ground up. I'm currently working on a senior foster care home. We're working on a complete renovation, taking a home that's a 3-2 to a 5-resident senior foster care home, and we're incorporating all these principles and more. I do consulting work with senior experiential community developers. Many people across the United States are working on developing very unique senior experiential communities. I love these. Okay, and more. I want to help to get the word out to not only consumers, but also businesses, and change the practices. So universal design and age well home design is part of the story. Okay. So when I'm working with people, I help them to create floor plans, material choices, create spaces that truly serve the whole person. And again, multiple generations and the lifestyle of today. So if you're listening and you're thinking about building or renovating, or even just dreaming, imagining, just know this: you have the power to create a home that supports your best life, and you deserve that. One that evolves with you, reflects your values, and holds space for who you're becoming. And if you're in the industry, you have the power to change the culture. The future of housing is not a one-size-fits-all. It's universal design, it's non-toxic materials, it's well-being spaces, it's creating aesthetically pleasing spaces, and it has to accommodate the modern world daily lifestyle. Okay, so that's the story today. So in future episodes, we're going to dive deep into so much more of all of this. But hopefully this gave you an overview of what aging in place is, what universal design is, and what we can imagine our daily lives to be if we start to be more proactive, create homes and lives so that we can thrive and not just survive. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. Brief episode. I'll be diving deeper, like I said, into all of these topics in future episodes, talking to other experts. You'll get so much information on each one of these topics. But for now, I hope this sparked a vision of what's possible and inspired you to start designing a life and a home that truly supports you and your loved ones. I encourage you to demand more, dream big. Until next time, keep choosing to age and live well. Thanks for tuning in to the Age Well Home and Lifestyle podcast. If this episode sparks something in you, share it with a friend or family member. Let it be the start of a real-life, meaningful conversation, because that's how we grow together. And I'd love to hear from you. What topics are you curious about? What questions are on your mind? Reach out and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, live true, and keep creating a life and home that's aligned with your truest self.